What's happening, everybody? Steven back again. Just dropped my wife and daughter off at the airport. They're headed to Toronto for Christmas. Uh, just didn't really have a whole lot of money floating around for me to go to, and I kind of thought of just driving back down to Louisiana. We're in North Dakota, as y'all probably know, but I was gonna drive back down to um, Louisiana, and I was gonna see my family and stuff. And I just decided not to. It was going to cost a little bit too much money. My truck doesn't get the best gas mileage, and if I towed my camper, uh, probably round trip, you're looking at about 750 plus probably another $200. So that'd be like another $1,000. So that was basically the cost of a plane ticket. So I could have just went with them. But anyway, we got to the airport and dropped. We went in and we booked through Expedia, and Expedia ended up telling us, well, let me back up. We booked through Expedia about a month ago, 3 weeks to a month, and for my wife and daughter to go from Bismarck, North Dakota, to Toronto, you have to stop in Minneapolis, and then you go to Toronto, basically. And for her to do that was like $800 or something like that. So we get to the airport, we've loaded everything up. We're gonna check a bag, and then my wife's gonna bring my backpack with her with diapers and things like that. And they're gonna go to Canada. My wife's aunt is gonna pick her up in Toronto at the airport, and then we're gonna just go from there, and they'll come back like in a week. So they get out of the car, we unload everything, we go into the airport, and we go to the ticket counter because I don't like doing self check-ins and all that stuff. So we go to the ticket counter, there's no line, and the girl says, well, we have you in our system, but the ticket's not paid for. And I'm like, yeah, it's paid for. I had $800 debited from my account, and it's on two different airlines. So I actually had two separate charges of like $400 each, debited out from my account. So I showed my wife. I was like, look, I've paid for it. She's like, yeah, well, I've got the trip confirmations right here. So we had to call Expedia and tell them, hey, you need to release the money, which is ridiculous. I've never in my life had to do with that. I've flown countless times. Never have I ever had to call someone and say, hey, release the money for our tickets. So we did that. Found out later that because my wife is flying with our daughter, who is 15 months, that she was going to sit in my wife's lap, and come to find out that they actually had it reversed. They had it to where it said that my wife was going to sit in my daughter's lap. So we had to change that, and then they finally got everything fixed, and my wife got to, go through security. So my wife goes through security, and I call her because they say, well, now that we've got this set, we'll be four people overbooked for the flight. And I'm like, well, we bought our ticket a month ago. Like, we should be, getting priority here. And they're like, well, because you weren't technically in the system, you'll be the last one to be booked. So there's a high chance you get kicked off the flight. So I was like, all right, just go through security. Call me if anything happens. So we're texting, and she says they're oversold, that they're offering $800 to get off the flight. And I told my wife, I said, no, don't get off the flight. You need to go. And she said, well, it's $800 plus they're gonna let us go to, the next day. We're gonna get to go the next day. So she's basically like, well, $800 in flight credits, that's an entire trip. We could take a trip at some point and we wouldn't have to pay for me. And I'm like, yeah, it sounds good, but at the same time, like, you got to worry about them changing your other flight. And now it's like Christmas Eve, Christmas Day flying. Like, if they can't change it or something happens, like, you're going to use that flight credit just on going there. So the only thing that's happened is you've missed a day with your family that you haven't seen in 2 years. So I'm like, okay, well, just wait. And she's like, well, their ads are saying it's $1,000 now. So I said, well, either way it goes, if they bump you, they're going to give you that $1,000. So just wait. So she waits, and then they basically, they don't bump her. She gets to go. They're in the air right now. Everything is good. However, I did notice that if you're flying American Airlines, which we're not, we will never fly American Airlines again, they tend to cancel more flights than anyone else when it comes to weather. They had a Delta flight, the last flight we had, which was about Thanksgiving, like a couple days after Thanksgiving. Our flight got canceled. I think I made a video on it, but it was hell. So our flight got canceled, and then we ended up getting trapped in Dallas at like 1 or 2 in the morning, and you can't book a hotel room after that amount. So we were kind of screwed, but they ended up fixing it. It was all good. But we actually flew to Bismarck, got like an hour away from Bismarck, and then they said it's not safe to land, so they turned around and came all the way back. So we ended up this trip, she's flying to Minneapolis, Minnesota, then she's going to Toronto, and then on the way back going to Denver, then to Bismarck. None of which is through American, but just my opinion, I would never fly American ever. Smallest planes I've ever been on. My wife even said, I've never flown United, but my wife said this flight is way better, way more room than American, and I know for a fact Delta has way more room. I am a very large guy, probably about 430 pounds. I can buckle a seatbelt on a Delta flight. No extender, nothing. We're fine. Me and my friend, who was 220 at the time, that's a lot of weight. Big guys. We could sit next to each other, no problem, on a Delta flight. American flight, I have to get a seatbelt extender. My wife almost needs a seatbelt extender, and she's not really that big. They are crazy small. But anyway, so my wife is going to be gone for about a week or so with my daughter. So my daughter's already seen most of my family. My wife, I probably haven't told anyone this, but my wife actually came from Jamaica. She was in Toronto when we met, and we met through a dating app. We talked. We ended up meeting up. We Skyped all the time, everything. Like a couple months after we met, we decided, hey, we'd like to see each other again. I was living in Mississippi at the time, so that's a 25-hour drive, something like that, maybe more. I can't remember, but it was a long way. So I was like, well, it's just not possible for me to come. But she flew down to see me. She stayed with me for over a week, I think it was a week and a half. Stayed with me, and then after that, we decided, hey, we want to really look at this and probably spend our lives together. So we ended up just kind of kept talking, and we're texting, calling, Skyping every day. And I knew when she was at work, she knew when I was at work, because I worked overnights, and we had a good time. And then she ended up coming back in December 1st. She moved in with me. We got married in March 2018, had our baby September 2018, and then since she's been here, the whole point of this long, drawn-out story that I'm giving you, since she's been here, she came over and we got married. So what they told me is they're not going to deport her unless she gets in some kind of trouble. She overstayed her visa, so she can overstay. But if she leaves, she can't come back for 10 years. So, we had to stay here. We could not leave. We could not go see her family. We applied for all this stuff, like, as soon as we got married. Like, the day after we got married, we were sending in stuff. Like, here's the proof we were married. Here's all our messages. Here's this and this. Like, we're legit. And it just took forever. It took so long. And then she finally got a work permit. She finally got her travel visa. Well, I think the travel visa is with the work permit, but she got that. And then we had to go to Minneapolis, and like it's a long drawn out thing. So we did all this, and so now she's finally, within the past 4 months, maybe 5 months at the most, she's been able to travel outside of the country. So international travel is pretty expensive, but Christmas time, we got it a month ago, wasn't that bad. It's $800. So we got her to go out of the country. So this is her first time going. I'm gonna stay up all night because there might be something I have to do, because I felt helpless the last time. I had my 1-year-old daughter just sitting there, and I was just looking at these people, and I was like, are we really gonna have to sleep in an airport lobby because of this? And like, I was just panicking, I was freaking out. I have major anxiety. And then, my wife got everything handled, so it was good. So I appreciate her for that. But Minneapolis is about 6 hours away, and I'm here. And I don't really want to drive that far to go get them if I have to. But if I have to, if they can't get on another flight, then I'll gladly go get them. So at least we have that going for us. I can go get them. But yeah, it's gonna be a kind of depressing week, I guess. I'm kind of down in the dumps for a while, and I think this week is just it's gonna be bad. But I don't know. I'm gonna try to find a few things to do. Like I said, I don't have any money, so I can't really do anything. I think I'm gonna do some Dave Ramsey cooking, beans and rice and beans. Just kind of eat that, and probably go, look for some jobs. That's about all I can do. And my wife said she applied a bunch of places, and seeing if we can trim some fat on our bills and just different things. It's so much that I can really do, but try not to sleep the whole time. I think I've been off for like a month, and I probably slept the entire month and a half that I've been off, and I need to get away from that. So yeah, I'll post some updates from here every now and again. Try to do it every day. I need to start doing this every day. Take my YouTube channel more seriously, and get some more games on there. I know some of you guys started commenting, wanting games. Almost to 50 subscribers, so that's a plus. That's awesome. So yeah, if you guys will, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. I don't have very many comments, so I get to answer as many as people comment. I get to answer them. I'm talking to this one guy about Borderlands 3, just giving him all my attention. He's probably 12 years old, but they say he commented, so I'll give him a response. I think I owe him that. And like I say, I'll try my best to get back to you. But yeah, I guess I'll play some games, or I really want to do some reactions, but I don't know how to do reactions just yet. So somebody wants to tell me how to do reaction videos. I'd really like to do some reaction videos, especially to these new Mr. Beast videos, because they are just, God, they're awesome. He is an awesome man. And just, the dude's never going to see this. Nobody's going to link it, but man, just keep it up. And I'm telling you, I watched his last video, and I saw that he was like, in 2020, he wants to open up 1 or 2 homeless shelters. We've already hit 20 million trees. We got the 20 million trees by 2020. We've already done that. So this dude's going to open these homeless shelters. It's going to be a blessing for people. And I really would love for him to do some kind of donation thing and just let us, the subscribers, just, be able to give back to him and donate and make this happen. Give us a goal and say, this is how much it's going to cost to get this thing up and running, and let us hit it. We've already blown one goal out of the park. Just let us do some more. That'd be awesome. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one.